All right, normal distribution is a type of distribution like positive skewed or negative skewed, but this one's in a bell curve and a lot of things apply for it. So if it's in a bell curve, it's saying that it's symmetrical about the mean. And we also know that within one standard deviation of the mean, 68% of the scores lie. This number never changes. It is always 68%. So 34% lie on either side. Now, within two standard deviations of the mean, 95% of scores apply. So that means in half of 95 is 47.5, and I've taken out 34, I'm left with 13.5. So I'm just explaining where we get these numbers from. Within three standard deviations of the mean, 99.7% of scores occur. So half of 99.7 is 49.85, and I've already used 47.5, so I'm left with 2.35 in there. I don't remember that number, but I'm just explaining where it comes from. And because I've still got 0.3 on the outside, I've got 0.15, which is half of 0.3 on both sides. Those numbers never change. I remember 68, 95, 99.7. Okay. The height of a large group of adults is normally distributed. So that word there in the sentence is telling me that the numbers 68, 95 and 99.7 work for this. And it also looks like this, or probably a bit more poofed there. That's a bit terrible. Anyway, it says the mean is 170 and the standard deviation is 8. So I'm going to add 8, 178 for one standard deviation, going to add 8 again, 186, and I'm going to add 8 again, 194. I'm going to subtract 8, 162, I'm going to subtract 8, 154, and I'm going to subtract 8 to give me 146. Now every time you see a question that says normally distributed, you need to draw up this diagram. Now, the question says, what percentage of heights are between 62 and 78? 62 and 78 are both one standard deviation from the mean, so I know the answer is 68%. Of course, it's normally distributed, and that's the rule. More than 178. More. Okay. This line in the middle represents 50%. This part here is 34%. So less than 178 is 84, 50 and 34. So more is 100 minus 84 because it represents the whole population, and it's 16. Now some people teach it that if I can remember these numbers, I can add up these three scores here and they will equal 16. But I can't remember those numbers. But I can halve 68, I can halve 95, I can halve 99.7 to work out how much is in the halves. Okay, a random sample contains 6,000 adults. How many have a height between 146 and 194? 146 and 194 is 3 standard deviations, so it's 99.7% of the 6,000, and whatever that is. 5,982. The next one lies between 162 and 186. 162 and 186. Right, this is how I'm going to work it out. I'm going to say that this is 34. So it's 34. I'm just going to put it here. 34 plus this part. Now that's half of the 2 standard deviation one, 95. So the percentage that I've got here is 34 plus half of 95. %81.5% of 6,000, which is 4,890.